look at the Huawei Mate 9 Pro Edition. This is not the Porsche Design Edition. This is a slightly different phone. Basically, it looks more or less the same. However, you don't get the Porsche Design logo on top. The specs are a bit different, and the backside is not matte. It is glossy silver finish over here, but we are having a close look at that in a second. First of all, the size. So compared to the Mate 9, this is definitely a smaller phone with its 5.5-inch display. The Mate 9 sports a 5.9-inch display, Full HD panel, and also IPS, meaning the viewing angles are not... They are great, don't get me wrong, but they're just not as good as the AMOLED panel on the Mate 9 Pro. Also, the resolution is different. As I said, Full HD on the Mate 9. This has a 2K display, which means 2560 by 1600 is the resolution, and it definitely is a lot sharper compared to the Mate 9, and also the colors really pop just a little bit more. So having a look at the display a bit more, you can see that it has a very slight curve on the right and left side. Compared to the Galaxy S7 Edge, it's a lot slighter, and I'm not completely sure if the panel itself is curved or just the glass, but it definitely has a very nice look to it. Also, the bezels are not as thin as compared to the Mate 9 Pro, at least that's how it looks like. Let's have a look. Yeah, I guess the Mate 9 Pro has still a bit slimmer bezels, but anyways, the 5.5-inch display makes this phone just a lot more comfortable to hold, since it's just a lot smaller. So having a look at the bottom, you can see that we have a home button over here, which is also new compared to the Mate 9. This has an integrated fingerprint reader. Also, it's touch sensitive, meaning you cannot press it, but you can just touch it to go back. For example, in the browser, if you open up a website, you can just go back by tapping it, or a long press brings you back to the home screen. Also, you can swipe to reach out to the multitasking menu, and usually what you would get with a phone which doesn't have any Android keys on screen is 2 touch points over here, but I cannot see them at all. On the left side there's a nano SIM card slot, typical, connections on the bottom, 3.5mm jack, a USB Type-C, this is your speaker over here, and of course you get your usual buttons on the right, which are really well built. So on the back, this looks a bit different compared to the Porsche design. So the Porsche design has a very matte graphite kind of look. This is a brushed aluminum silver design, which is also glossy. It does look really good, and actually, you can't see any fingerprints, which is also kind of nice. Also on the back, it's sporting the same cameras on the Mate 9, which is a dual camera from Leica with 12 and 20 megapixels, dual LED flash, 4 kinds of autofocus right here, so there's not much of a difference in terms of specs. This phone will be retailing for about 640 euros in December, and if we have a look at the specs, this is the smaller version. This is running with 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage. Of course, the Kirin 960 CPU, which is also in the Mate 9 and in the Mate 9 Porsche design as well. The bigger version has 128 GB of internal storage and 6 GB of RAM, but this is definitely just enough to get it running really smooth. And with the Kirin 960 CPU, this is one of the fastest phones. What I also really like is, compared to the Mate 9, the battery is basically the same. This is 9,000 milliamp hours, meaning you get a really nice, decent battery life for, I would say, 1 to 2 days. So for such a handy phone, this is definitely one of the highlights. It's a really nice and handy phone with a huge battery, beautiful curved display, and some really nice performance.